Let there be light. Let there be light in your life. Let there be light in your family. Let there be light. When we read the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 3, the Bible says, Then God said, Let there be light, and there was light. In the chapter 1 of Genesis, verse 3. But if we read verse 1, the Bible says, God, He created the universe. And if we say Landelayo, verse 2, and the Bible says, it was vowed, the earth was without form, and the Spirit of God was hovering upon the waters. And in verse 3, God, He speaks the word. He said, Let there be light, and it was so. So when you following this order, verse 1 and verse 2 and verse 3, the scholars, they said there are three worlds, which is the original world whereby God creating the perfect and original world, and verse number 2, the earth was formless, it was the baptism world. And verse number 3, when God said, Let there be light, God, He was recreating, because they say so. But I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about light, because He said, Let there be light. So let there be light. Uma sifunda uverse 3 uthi, Let there be light, and there was light. The first light is a pause, is a Greek, to give light. And again we have the second light, the same chapter, but verse 13, 14, 15, 16. There's a second life, a light, which is moon and stars and sun. So the second one is a pagos, Pagos is a brightness lighter, is used to the light of the moon and stars, which is a pagus. So which means in verse 3, when God said, Let there be light, uNkulunkulu wayengakhulumi ngokukhanya. uNkulunkulu wayengakhulumi ngokukhanya, the brightness. But when uNkulunkulu released the word and He said, Let there be light, He was releasing a pause. Okay, let's read the book of John chapter 1 and verse 4. The Bible says, In Him was life, and the life was the light of man. When you read in verse 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And verse 2, the Bible says, He was in the beginning with God, which means the beginning of John is the first one. The beginning of Genesis is the second one, because the beginning of Genesis, it begins because of a creation. At the beginning of John, he was introducing Jesus Christ. He was introducing who is this man. That is why he said, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was with God. He was in the beginning with God before He created. Now when God He created through the Word. You understand? So this Word is God, is Jesus Christ. So now verse 4, in Him was life, and there's in Him was life, and the life was the light of men, which is Christ. Which means in verse 2 of Genesis was vowed. the earth was formless. Understand? The spirit of death was reigning in verse 2, and the spirit of God was hovering because umhlaba formless, awunampilo, and God he restore the life phezu komhlaba. Uthi let there be light, and there was light, which is Christ. And according to the book of John, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and life. And so when God released the way, when he said, let there be light, God, he was saying, let there be Christ in the world, in the earth. Because without Christ, there is no life here. There is no life. That is why God said, let there be light. Let there be Christ in the firmament. Let there be Christ in the world. Let there be Christ in the space. Because without Christ, there is no life. Because he is the life. He is the light. So when he said, let there be light, there was light, which is Christ. And now, sifunde elinye verse, ladies and gentlemen. Let us read the book of Timothy. The book of Timothy, the book of Timothy, the first Timothy. Inamandla, igama likaJesu